So I'll be showing you how to do a UK double stitch, or in the US a single stitch. Preferably I use single stitch as it makes more sense to me, but whichever one you want to use you can use. So first off, you'll need some wool. I'm just using 100% acrylic wool, and for this wool I'm going to be using a 3.5mm crochet hook, so it looks like that. And depending on your wool size, that will also change the size of your crochet hook. So whichever wool size, make sure you have the right corresponding crochet hook. You'll also need a pair of sharp scissors, any type will do. And you'll also need a needle with quite a large eye so you can get the wool through it. So this is used at the end of your crochet piece. And we will begin. So I've already started mine. Just did a normal slip knot and chain stitches. If you don't know how to do this, then go look back at my previous videos so you can learn. So to start off, you'll have the chain stitch. So this is the front, it sort of crisscrosses over like that, and this is the back, so it runs down like that. So to begin, you put your crochet hook through the loop. It's just normal loop as before, if you were going to do a chain stitch, but not obviously. So once you've done that, so what you want to do is you want to flip it. Actually, don't put your hook through the loop yet, flip it round, put your hook into the loop, and you want to hold your chain stitch and the yarn leading back to the ball in your hand. You want to make sure that the tension is good. And so to start off a single stitch, get closer so it's easier to see. You'll have at the back, you'll have these little rows. So you have a line here and a line here and so forth. So what you want to do is, let me get that out of the way so it's easier to see. So there is sort of like a hole between that line and one of the stitches. You can see that. What you want to do is you want to put your hook through that hole just there, so that you have two loops on your hook. I'll show that again. So you have your first loop there, and then you have a line there, and then you have a loop over it, and you want to put your hook through that first one. So it looks like that. So you have two on your hook. Once you've done that, you want to get the yarn that leads back to the wall, to the ball, and you want to hook it over just like you did for the chain stitch. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. And just like before on your chain stitch, you want to get that one, this yarn, under the hook, and you want to pass it through that loop until you just have 2. And then you want to loop it over again, get that yarn under that hook, but this time you want to pass it through both of these 2 loops here. So to make it easier for you, go through one loop first and then go through it again. So you have your first single stitch. It should look like that. I will show you again so that you can see it. So you have your stitch, so it's a line there and a loop that goes over it. You want to put your hook through that loop, so sort of like a little hole is formed. So you don't want to put it underneath here, as that won't work very well. I'm going to put it through the top. Then you want to loop over, so you have 3 loops on your hook. You want to get the yarn that leads back to the ball under that hook, and you want to pull it through that loop, just like if you're doing a chain stitch. So you now have 2 on the hook. You want to loop it over again, and you want to pull this one through both the loops. So again, take it slowly, pull through one loop, and then pull through another. If you need to adjust your hand placement at any time, do so. Take plenty of time. So that is your second single stitch. Again, in the UK it's called a double stitch, in the US a single stitch, but I just prefer calling it a single stitch. You'll understand my meaning when we get to the double stitch, but for now, let's just keep on going. So I'll show you a third time. You have your line here and the loop that goes over it. Your crochet hook goes through that loop, so you have 2 on your hook. You want to put the yarn that leads back to the ball over. Make sure that it's hooked. Pull it through that loop just like in a chain stitch. So you now have 2. Loop it over again, so you have 3, and you want this one to go through both. So once again, take it slow, pull it through 1, and then pull it through 2. So it should look something like that. So if you want to pause here and carry on to the end of your line, however long you've done it, then I'll come back and show you how to turn over to do the next row. So now that you've finished doing your first row of single stitches, or double stitches if you're using the UK terminology, I can show you how to turn over to start your second row. So first off, I'll show you what it should look like. So what you want is just like a chain stitch, these parts crossing over just like this. And then this is how you want the end to look. So you have single chain stitch, mistake, single chain stitch just like that, and then a loop just here. That's what you want it to look like. Very simple, quite plain. So you want to get your hook again, and we'll start off with the next row. So what you want to do first is you want to do another chain just like you do in a normal chain stitch. Just want one extra one just like that, and then you want to turn it over, sort of like turning over a book, just slightly in the wrong way. And then this is what the back will look like. the back. And then when you have that one, that extra one, so just there, what you want to do is, you don't want to do another single stitch in that extra one you put there. You want to do it in the, see if we get that out of the way. So you want to do it in this loop here. So I'll show you with the end of the crochet hook. So you have this loop here. So I'll show you. So you have the crossings, the stitches here, and you want to keep doing your single stitches in the top loop just here. So I'll show you how to do that. Make sure that you have the right tension. So if you want, you can put the yarn leading back to the ball behind your index finger just to keep it out of the way for now. So you want to miss that extra loop you did, and you want to put your hook through that top loop. Now, some people put their hook through both the loops. It's entirely up to you, but I prefer not to, because I'll show you later on, it sort of leaves a line. So if you need to be precise on how many rows that you're doing, it's much easier to count. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So I'll show you that again. Ooh, got a little caught there. So you just want to put your hook through that top loop, just like that. So you have 2 loops on your hook once again. Just like before, you want to loop round. So you have 3, get that yarn underneath the hook to pull it through once. So you have 2, and you want to loop it around again, so you have 3, and you want to pull this one through both of these. Again, take it slowly, pull it through one first, and then pull it through the second one. Let me show you that again. So you put your hook through that top loop there. So let me show you that top loop. So just there. Then you want to loop round, so you have 3. Pull that one through one first. Then you have 2, loop it round again, so you have 3, and pull this one through these 2. So do it slowly, pull it through 1, and then pull it through 2. Let me show you again, just so you get it. Put through that top loop. Now that you've done your second row, we can move on to the third one. So I'll show you again how to turn over. So you've gotten to your last stitch here. So what you want to do is do another single chain, just like in a normal chain stitch. So you have it like that. And then you just want to turn over again, just like a book, but turning it the wrong way, obviously. Once you've done that, what you want to do is miss that chain that you just did there. Did mine just a little bit too tight. So do a single chain again. So miss that chain you just did there, and then you want to go in your first loop. So let me show you that. So just the first loop there. So this sort of hole. Just there. Once you've done that, you want to loop over, so you have your 3 loops. Make sure that the yarn leading back to the ball is under the hook. You want to pull it through once, so you have 2 loops. Loop it over again, then again. Take it easy, pull it through once, pull it through twice. Let me show you again. So you want to go through that loop on the top, yarn over, pull it through once, so you have 2, yarn over. Make sure the yarn is under the hook. Take it easy and pull it through once, then pull it through twice. Show you a 3rd time. So through the loop. Oh, got a little caught there. Through the loop, yarn over. So you have 3, this one goes through once, so you now have 2, yarn over, then take it easy, pull it through once, pull it through twice. So now that you know how to single stitch, do that a couple more rows, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to finish this. So now that you've done a few more rows, doesn't matter how many you've done, this is what it should look like. As you can see, there are these lines here and then sort of what resembles knots here. So this is what I was talking about before when I said some people go through both loops. So if I show you here, some people go through both of them, but I like to go through just the top one so that I can see these lines, so that if I need to be very precise about my rows, I can just easily count them. So this would be our first row, the row that we did from the chain stitch. This is our first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and so forth. So now I'll show you how to finish it off. So once you've got to the end, you don't need to do another single chain stitch. Just leaving it like that is perfectly fine. And what you want to do is cut a little length of your yarn. About that much is perfectly fine. If you want more or less, then do as you please. Then what you want to do is take your hook and go as if you are going to go and do another single chain, but what you want to do is you want to pull it through all the way through, and then you want to pull it nice and tight so that it forms a tiny little knot just there. Now what some people do is they'll put some clear nail polish remover just around that knot to seal it and then cut it off, and that's perfectly fine. But what I find to be a bit better is getting your needle with your large eye, threading it through. Let's see if I can do that. It'd take a bit of time. There we go, so threading it through just like that, leave a little bit. And then what you want to do is you want to take your needle and sort of weave through these loops, so back to forth. I'll show you. So go through one, go through another, go through one, go through another. And you sort of want to do that until most of the length is gone. Going at least halfway is perfectly fine. And then you can cut the excess off. What that does is it keeps your piece nice and together and neat. And you won't have to be using any nail polish remover and waiting for it to dry. And you can also do that for the one at the bottom, so just put it through your needle again, weave it back through, back and forth, and cut it off. But I'm a little impatient and won't do that, so I'll just cut mine already. And there you have it, a nice little single US single stitch or UK double stitch all done. It's perfectly fine if it's a little wonky and mismatched. Over time you'll get it more neat. But also just a little tip here, this is why I left it just a bit too loose, so make sure to keep your tension nice and even so you don't have this problem. And there you go.